So it hasn't even been 90 minutes since Canelo and Crawford left the ring, as you can see right here on the screen. Terrence Crawford is at the post fight press conference after his unanimous decision win. I'm still shocked over 168-pound undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez. Just 2 years ago, on July the 29th, right now is September the 14th, 2025, July the 29th, 2023, Terrence Crawford became undisputed at 147 pounds by beating the dog shit out of Errol Spence. And as you can see here on Crawford's resume, he's had, this is his fifth fight in what? I believe it's, let's see here, since 2020. This is his fifth fight. Canelo has had 10 fights in that same time span. In the last, let's say, okay, let me just say it this way: one fight in 2021, one fight in 2022, one fight in 2023, one fight in 2024, and then right now, September 14th, 2 weeks from today, on the 28th, Terrence Crawford will be turning 38 years old, and he's undisputed 168-pound champion of the world. Three-time undisputed, 4 belts, the 4 sanctioning bodies, plus the lineal championship, which is the Ring Magazine belt. WBA, WBO, IBF, WBC, Ring Magazine for 140, 147, and 168. And he could very well go down and do it at 154. He doesn't know what he's going to do yet. There is some chatter about retirement, but he hasn't said it personally out of his mouth yet. I don't even know where to begin on what's next for Canelo, because from what we've seen tonight, with the 115, 113 by 2 judges, 116, 112 by another, it didn't look like that in the ring. On my card, I gave Canelo 3 rounds. 9 rounds to 3 for me. Canelo couldn't really do anything that Terrence Crawford wasn't able to handle. It was at one point in time he stood in the pocket with Canelo. He took Canelo's best body shots, best uppercut, best head shots, and it was nothing Canelo could do. So as I'm still here lost for words and in awe of the talent and the skill of who is now my number one pound for pound. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Usyk. I'm a huge Alexander Usyk fan, 2-time undisputed at heavyweight. 3-time undisputed overall. Remember, cruiserweight. I covered that whole tournament, the World Boxing Super Series. But what Terrence Crawford was able to do, jumping up from 147 to one fight at 154, skipping 160, going up to 168, and schooling Canelo Alvarez, he's got to be my number one pound for pound. Hand it over to Big J. Big J, what are your thoughts on the fight? I'm still in awe.
Well, the first thing I'm doing, hang on, mate, because I just got to clear my throat. I'm eating the egg that was on my face, so I'm just finishing eating the egg that was on my face, because I thought Canelo was going to beat the absolute dog shit out of Crawford, and I was proven dead wrong. So I'm the first to admit that I was dead wrong on this occasion. I thought Canelo would, if not win a very convincing 12-round decision, knock Crawford out, but Crawford took everything that Canelo could throw at him, and he's proven by a doubt that he's easily the best fighter of this generation, if not of all time, because no one's done what Crawford's done. He's moved up 3 weight divisions to have an absolutely dominant performance of what was easily, in most people's mind, depending on who you ask, the pound-for-pound number 1 fighter in the world. Certainly the best Mexican of all time, without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, the pound-for-pound argument's the same 5 guys. Usyk, in a way, Canelo, Crawford, Bivol's sort of slides down the card a bit, but those 4 guys are always in the conversation of who's pound-for-pound, who's number 1 pound-for-pound. And based on what you said, even though Usyk has had 7 fights at heavyweight coming up from cruiserweight, beating guys so much bigger than him. It's no one's ever done what Crawford has done. Because let's face facts, he can come up from 147. You don't really count that fight out with McCreamore for 150. So he's a welterweight coming up 4 divisions to fight of 3 divisions to fight, Canelo, who was easily the best fighter in the division, being 11-0 at super middleweight.
And Canelo, remember, beat Kovalev at light heavyweight, and Crawford won his first world title at 135.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said at the end of the day, on my channel called Aussie Boxing Talk, it was a 154 versus a lightweight, and the lightweight won. Whichever way you look at it, Canelo was always going to have a 20-pound weight advantage.
Yeah.
Whichever way you slice it, but Crawford made it look very easy. I mean, at the end of the fight, Canelo looked absolutely shot to pieces, and Crawford looked fine, despite the headbutt, which, what cut? I couldn't find any cut on Crawford. He looked fine.
It was a small little cut, yeah, because I'm looking at it right now. It's a small cut, but nothing that was, caused any issues.
That had no insignificance on the fight. I mean, I agree with you. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I honestly thought they probably would have done the old screw job and had a draw so they could go to an instant rematch.
Once I heard that 115, I was a little scared too. I mean, that 115 card.
The right man won, but once again, the cards don't justify just how dominant the fight was. I mean, Crawford won that 9 rounds to 3. By the 6th round, he was up 5 rounds to 1. He already had it in the back.
Yeah.
Canelo should be probably a little embarrassed that he got dominated by a smaller, older, less active man. If you think about it, Crawford only fights once a year. Canelo fights twice a year. He's the most dominant person in that division. And Crawford comes along with 0 experience at the weight and dominates him.
And then doesn't even get tired. Like he carried the weight well. He didn't lose his speed, didn't get tired, no anything.
That's the best performance I've seen Crawford since he beat the dog shit out of Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
And that very similar. He beat the crap out of
Errol Spence. No, he beat the shit out of Errol Spence.
Yeah, but Errol Spence was recovering from 2 bloody car accidents. Errol Spence was not at his best. If he didn't have those car accidents and all other problems Errol Spence had, I think that fight would have went a little bit differently. So
you think Spence would have won?
No. I think Crawford still would have won, but not beat the absolute dog shit out. Because you go have 2 car accidents and say you're the same man. No one's the same after having car crashes. So yeah, if Spence was 100%, I think that fight would have went differently. Not saying he would have won. I'm saying it wouldn't have been as easy a win for Crawford.
So Canelo clearly had more to lose than Crawford, because Crawford could have just said, and his fans could have just said, oh, well, it was too big of a weight. To where Canelo, how does he recover from this? Because he said he was fine, but, this is a bit embarrassing, losing to a smaller fighter who's never been at the weight before. And to lose the way that he lose, it can be argued that he was dominated.
He was dominated, but the thing is that Canelo's had 65 fights, fought every great fighter he could lay his hands on. Mm-hmm. Does he really need to come back from this? Why not just say, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to retire? Because maybe, and there's no excuses, he lost, and he lost easily. Yeah. But maybe all these injuries and 65 fights are starting to catch up with him.
Yeah, but you can't make these excuses like that, man. People ain't trying to hear it. Because people are going to say, well, Crawford was the smaller fighter, so it should even itself out.
Exactly, but there's no excuses. Canelo got beat easily. Does this tarnish his legacy? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, I don't think it does, because a lot of people thought Crawford was going to win anyway. So this is, like I said to you before, is this an upset? Yeah. Do I consider it an upset? Yes, because I thought Canelo was going to beat the dog shit out of Crawford. But on the scheme of things, it was a 50-50 fight. So was it really an upset? Not really, because just as many people thought Crawford was going to win as Canelo did. So
here's some stats. The fighter who to have landed the most punches against Canelo was Floyd Mayweather when they fought back in 2013. It was at a 152-pound catch weight, and Canelo was 23 years old at the time. Floyd Mayweather landed 232 punches. The second most punches landed on Golovkin were 218 punches, and then 207 punches. And then guess who's number 3? Terrence Crawford. Dimitri Bivol landed 152. So
yeah, well, I think considering the fact that Crawford was the same age Floyd was, but then again, Canelo was 10 years younger.
Yeah. And that is true. Crawford turns 38 years old next week. Canelo turned 35 on July the 18th.
So I'm going to say on record, I think Crawford's a better fighter than Floyd ever was, because look what Crawford's achieved.
Yeah, okay, and that's the other question I was going to ask you. Would you rate this win over Canelo bigger than anything Floyd has done in his career outside of making all the money?
Oh, shit, yeah, because look, Floyd bloody only ever fought people who were washed up or bloody not in their prime. When did Floyd ever fight someone in their prime?
Yeah. You know, they'll argue. Well, De La Hoya was kind of shot. You know, Miguel Cotto had already been
shot to pieces.
Yeah.
He waited forever to fight. Is Floyd older than Manny? I think he is.
Yeah, he is. He got a couple of years on him.
Yeah, but he waited forever until bloody Pacquiao's shoulder was in 10 pieces before he fought him. He didn't fight him when he should have in 2009, where Pacquiao would have knocked his fucking head off. So, you know, I mean, you know, as they say, people say and argue that Floyd's one of the greatest duckers of all time because he'd only fight people when they were either washed up or before their prime.
Yeah, and he never went there. He could have been, he never was undisputed. You know, he was unified, never was undisputed. He could have been undisputed if he would have fought Kell Brook instead of Andre Berto, but, you know, woulda, coulda, shouldas. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say from my side, I rate this win, Crawford's win, and the way he did it over Canelo, bigger than anything Floyd has done, and especially at the weight. Floyd can say, "Oh, I fought the young Canelo. He was 23 years," but at the end of the day, Floyd made Canelo fight a catch weight of 152. Yeah, Canelo offered the weight, but still, you know, he was drained in the bit. In this case, there was no rehydration clause, no nothing. He fought Canelo as Canelo.
Exactly. So, and with all the experience that, because Canelo was a baby when he fought Floyd.
Yeah. Was not the guy he is now. You can see he was not. That was the fight that actually taught, you know, it was like welcome to the big leagues. You know, Canelo was a different fighter after that. It was almost like a passing of the torch.
Exactly. So could a 38-year-old Floyd, well, he wouldn't because he wouldn't make 168. Canelo at 168 would murder Floyd. So, but anyway, as we said, Canelo's always had problems with pure boxers. He's only been beaten by pure boxers. Floyd, Bivol. Bivol I'm going to move us because Bivol was a bigger, stronger, younger man. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how much tall? Like Bivol's what, 6 foot tall?
Yeah.
What's Canelo's what, 5'6"?
Yeah, 5'7". I can say he's not 5'7". He's definitely 5'7", but he's not no 5'8", no 5'9". That's for sure.
Well, I've stood next to Crawford, and he's only tiny, and Canelo's tinier than him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Canelo's a tiny dude. You know, just real stocky and wide.
Yeah, Bivol's 6 foot. He's my size. So,
and the crazy part about it is, where do you like? Would you like? What do you think Crawford should do? You think he should stay at 168, go down to 160, or go back down to 154?
You know what I think he should do? I think he should say, fuck it, retire. What else has he got left to prove?
Yeah.
What else has he got left to prove? He's 38 years old. How much money did he make? $6 million or some ridiculous amount of money?
It was something like 50, but it's going to definitely be more after. He's going to definitely get more now.
Yeah, it was like, why? I mean, I don't see the point of continuing to fight. I mean, when is enough? I've said it many
banked.
times.
If the figures are correct off the top of my head, he's banked. If not, he's banked about $100 million, if not close to it, for his career.
Well, what the fuck does he need to keep fighting for?
Especially after tonight. Now you got to think. You know, money can get the people, and now he's going to be getting. See, he just dethroned okay, so we had the different eras. It was the Mike Tyson era. Who came after that? Then it was the De La Hoya era. Then it was the Floyd Mayweather era. Then this was the Canelo era. Even though Crawford's older, he just came in, and now he's going to be the one commanding 20 million plus a fight. And he's 38 years old. He don't want to milk it too much, but the guy still looks good. My problem is, see, as I'm looking at the rankings at 168, his mandatory is Christian Mbili. He fought on the undercard against Lester Martinez. That was a draw. He can beat Mbili. Jose Armando Renendez, the guy who got the upset over Caleb Plant, he's the WBA mandatory. He can beat him. There's when I'm looking at the guys, they're bigger than Crawford, but these guys were bigger than Canelo, and then Canelo would beat these guys. So, I'm thinking that he can compete, he can compete at 168 pounds.
But why?
Now, Hamza Shiraz may be a problem, because of the height, and the style. But yeah, I agree with you. What else is there more to do? But I'm pretty sure, unless Canelo's either going to fight Crawford in a rematch and it's going to go the same way, or he's going to retire. I don't think that Canelo's going to take this loss well.
No, I don't think he will. But here's the thing. And Jerry Seinfeld said it correctly. He said it to Hugh Jackman about the Wolverine character. Don't always leave something in the tank. Don't run the tank completely dry. Mm-hmm. And if Crawford continues, because how many boxers have fought on far too long? Pretty much
all of them.
Tyson,
all the big ones except Floyd. Yeah, yep. All the big ones except Floyd. Even Manny.
And Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis left the people wanting more.
Yeah, and he got out of there after that Klitschko fight. He knew what time it was. He barely survived that. It was a cut that saved him.
Exactly. So why not retire while you're on top, and leave the people wanting more? Because if you look at it this way, right? If you leave on top, like wrestling analogy, Shawn Michaels did, but you come back 8 years later, you fuck it up.
Yeah.
So leave on. If I was Crawford's advisor, I'd be, look, mate, you've just had one of the greatest wins of all time. You just made $50 million. Seriously, what is there left to prove? Get out now while you're on top, because it only takes one bad punch to fuck up everything.
Yeah, I would say do the rematch, beat Canelo again, and then retire. It's nothing else left to prove after that. He'll be just fighting for money, and he's already got it. He should already have. You could never know, say how much how much money a person has, but you can say he already has enough. Secure your legacy. It's already secure, but don't go out there and get knocked out on some bullshit. Especially as Father Time is undefeated. Even though he looked good in there tonight, at the end of the day, he still got to maintain this weight.
Exactly. I mean, just because he can pull it off once does not mean he can do it again in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So, closing thoughts?
Well, an absolutely fantastic performance. It puts him one of the greatest wins, if not the greatest win of all time, you'd have to say. I mean, no one else has pulled this off. So he's a generational talent, once in a lifetime talent. And yeah, I mean, people should now. Did I say this before? Eddie Murphy needs to make a new Coming to America. So they can say now that Terence Crawford, pound for pound, is the greatest fighter they ever lived.
Yeah, the barbershop scene. Yeah, it's going to be talked about. He's now entered the barbershop conversations. How about that?
Exactly. So it all comes around full circle. And if Eddie Murphy, by some chances, is listening to this, just do another scene on Saturday night or something. Saturday night.
Because
Saturday
now,
Night still going over there.
What you say?
The Saturday Night Live still going over in that country?
Yeah. It's still bigger than that.
He could do another bloody snit with his mates and do another 5-minute barbershop scene just to say Terence Crawford is the greatest fighter.
I know, it is crazy because, that's true. He has entered the barbershop conversations of, Terence Crawford would have beat Sugar Ray Leonard. Terence Crawford would have beat Roberto Duran, Tommy. Now the fact that he's in that conversation, like he sealed his greatness. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy and Big J at Old Mate Big J. Yeah, we back on the saddle. So see you guys later on, and still in shock. On to the Know Your card.